Hello everybody and welcome back to a new video. Today we are in a brand new survival world that I've started, and I'm going to make this into a bit of a series where I build up the area that I'm sort of settling into, make my starter houses, make some redstone farms, learn how to do redstone, all with this beautiful mesa backdrop. So today what we are going to be doing is making like the first few buildings along this coastline. I want to sort of, if you stand over at that village over there, I want to be able to look into it and see my starter base and like a nice little walkway around the edge of this coast. So what I want to start with is sort of like figure out where I want everything to be. What I've decided I want to do for this corner especially is sort of turn it into a perfect circle and then have an upper layer and then a sort of around the edge sort of like boardwalk, and then above that will be where I'll place all of the buildings and that sort of thing. So I'm going to sort of mark out with dirt like a rough circle that I want to follow. And what I want to do along this circle is sort of like strip it back in front of it so I can create two distinct layers between where the shops are and where the boardwalk is, and I think that will just look really nice. I think that will look really nice for like a seaside sort of town, to make it look like it's not like at the level of the waterline, but it's built up with a strong foundation, given that this is a desert. This is going to be sandstone, which is like, it gives you the impression that it's quite strong, but also that it has a seaside element to it, and that's not being ignored in the build. But this has the added benefit of like I'm literally collecting the material that I'm going to use when I make it, which is really convenient in survival mode, but also like when you think about how people make things like in sort of like olden times when everyone's not importing and exporting materials like nobody's business, people would have just used what was on site, which I think makes it feel a little old, which is good. I think I like old builds. But yeah, what I want to do here is just replace all of these blocks with sandstone. I think maybe even at the bottom put cut sandstone. I'm gonna get a stone cutter because we like to be efficient with our materials. But even if I put just cut sandstone at the bottom, I think that's nice. I think that makes it look more solid at the bottom, and then it can turn into the normal sandstone. I like that. I like that a lot. And then at the top, what I want to do is put in sandstone stairs, just like that. Or maybe the other way. Like that. I think that'll look really good. So I'm gonna like remove these and put them in as normal sandstone, and then put in a slab there. And eventually I want like all of the pathways and ground to be sandstone, so I think this is just a really nice start on that. And just something like that, that's really nice. What I am going to do now though is find some spruce wood, because I think that it would go awesomely with this sort of color palette, and I think that it's the best wood to use for a dock. I have now collected some spruce, so what I'm going to do is just sort of mirror this curve around the bottom of this, and maybe I'll even terraform some of this so that it doesn't look, it looks more like a boardwalk that's extended over the water rather than just something down here. I'm not quite sure yet, but I'm just going to add in spruce wood. And then what I've done up here is I have flattened this layer out so that everything is on the same layer as the boardwalk along here. And I've also started marking out some shapes for different sorts of buildings. So here I'm going to have like a quite tall piece, or maybe even like a shortish piece, a quarter of a dome, and a little piece back there, And these are only 2D, but it really helps me get like an idea of where everything is going to sit. And if I stand out here, I can look at it and decide whether or not I like the shapes that are coming to be. So I think I want a building here, and this will be like sort of like a corner building given that it has a dome. I thought it would be really nice to mirror this circular shape with the dome in here. And then I have a building here, and I want there to be like a balcony here. So this will be quite a tall building, I think. Maybe this bit will be shorter and with a slightly slanted roof. And then around this corner, I would like there to be another building, but I haven't really decided what I want that building to look like yet. I haven't really gone into this build with much of a plan. I've just sort of got like a vague idea of what I want it to be like. I'm still yet to decide the color palette. I'll go and collect some terracotta later. I'm thinking maybe a warm color palette with oranges and reds and yellows, but with green maybe, or greenish blue as a accent color, because I think that that will really complement what's going on back there in the mesa, while also having it like stand out against the sand. So for this building, I'm going to start with using some birch logs, I think. And then what I want to do on top of that is cut sandstone, maybe. Because I think that that just gives like a nice base layer to it. And then on top of that, I will put smooth sandstone, but that just needs to smelt. And then over for this part of the building, I think I'm just gonna put normal sandstone on the bottom and then go up with smooth sandstone. Or actually no, I'll switch these two around. I'll put cut sandstone on the bottom of this, and then I'll put normal sandstone here, and then smooth sandstone on the top of everything else. Just because then the cut sandstone makes it look more like a foundation layer. But we have a wooden foundation layer for the other part of the building. And then what I want to do for the front of this is I want to make like a really nice sort of balcony, something like that, and then I'll put a layer of cut sandstone on top of that. And then that can be a really nice balcony, I think. And then when we put smooth sandstone behind this, then I think that looks really good. And then we'll put a door in here. I think that that looks really nice. And then once I get all of the smooth sandstone I need, I can just build up this building. And then I think this will be a shorter thing with a slanted roof. Maybe I'll make that slanted roof out of spruce wood, I think, and just using slabs for this. And even then I can like punch in a window here and put in some glass, and I think that that'll look really good. And I've just gone ahead and added some details to the upper story. I'm gonna put in some glass. I've decided on white because I usually use like grey, but that doesn't really sort of work with this color palette, but that's okay. And just some doors, and then up here what I'm gonna do is pop down some flower pots just for a little bit of character. And what I've done inside, I've just added a ladder up here. And then down here will be my mine. And then along this wall I might put some furnaces or some other utility items that I might need before I go caving. And there is the first building that we're going to create today. As I've been building this, I've sort of been wondering about the color palette of the other builds because they are quite different to this, I think. If I add in red and brick, I think I'm still going to go ahead with the red and brick, but only have it be like a few houses and not very big ones. And I'm not going to go ahead with using the brown here. I think I'm just going to leave it at jungle, and then I'll add in some sandstone spruce and some orange terracotta, because I think that the orange will go a lot better with this sort of color palette, and it will make it look a lot more fitting to the desert, I think. So I'd like to move on to the second build next, and I want this to have like sort of like a dome. I mentioned this before, but I think this will be a really cool sort of place. And I think it'd be really cool if we could get some nice glass in here. Maybe even just like that. And then up top here, I would like some slabs. And I'm gonna do what I did very recently for one of my builds, where I put sandstone, spruce, and then a orange dome at the top. I think it looked really good, and I think it will really complement this area. And then for the front of this build, I'm debating using stripped jungle logs and then white terracotta. I think that stands out far too much. I think that the jungle logs could work though, maybe jungle logs and oak planks. That could look really nice. I think the jungle planks are a bit too pink, and I think I'm going for more of a beige here. So that will be for this part of the build. And then for the back, I'm thinking that we will use the brown terracotta. I think I'll also use some bricks at the bottom of this, maybe. So if we add some brick here, and then some brown terracotta on top of that, I think that that will look quite good. I think that these buildings will end up looking quite mashed together. Yeah, I really don't like this with that then. Maybe we'll just do bricks and brown terracotta then. I've been through so many different options with this part of the house, but I think I'm just gonna go with strip birch logs and some smooth sandstone. Maybe even some normal sandstone as a middle layer. Other than that, it's just too complicated. I've tried like 5 different options. I think also simplifying the color palette will be really beneficial, but for this front bit, I've just decided to go for jungle logs, fading into oak logs, and just stripping them all. And I've also been slowly working on the inside of this build, so you just walk in. I'm not really sure how to feel about it, but I like these sort of archways, and I like that you can just walk through it all. So I'm just going to replace all of this brick with stripped birch logs and then some sandstone on top of it. And just finishing it off with the smooth sandstone on the top. And then I'm going to make this fairly high, I would say. And I'll just finish off this dome on the top of this, and then, I don't know, maybe put some slabs in some different places. So yeah, I'm just gonna sort of do that, and then that just makes it look like it sort of extends onto the top of this build. And then up the top here, what I really want to do is finish this just with a slanted spruce roof on top like the other build. I'm not 100% happy with this build, but I think that's an important part of the building process, to build something and be like okay with it but not like a huge fan of it, because then you can learn for next time. And I will be making, I think, a fairly large sized town in this general area. So I think it will be important to make things that I don't like, and then one day come back to them and remake them. And I'm just going to do the same thing as this roof and make it slanted. And I think just leaving these builds like this is enough. I might poke in a window up here just for fun and put in a door and all those sorts of things. But I think that it is fine. It works. It's not the most beautiful thing I've ever created, but it works. It's part of the journey, and I'm proud of it. So what I'm going to do is I am going to clean up the front area, make it look all nice, and then we'll have a look at the final build. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I really am looking for some feedback here because I don't know, I'm not 100% on what the style for this area is going to be. So if you have any suggestions, let me know.